Good evening, family. Welcome to another broadcast. Sorry for the slight delay there. I ain't trying to figure out what was going on with my camera there, and guess we got it somewhat figured out. So yeah, I'm gonna be keeping an eye on it in the meantime. But so glad to have you guys with us this evening. We're gonna give people just a little bit of time to jump on here, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started. Tonight, we're gonna take a look at the never-ending roller coaster that the powers that shouldn't be love to sit back and watch us as black folks always get in line. We'll stand in line for it for hours. We'll get on it and we'll stay on it. Meanwhile, everybody else is sitting back eating their popcorn, and they're like, look at all them folks. We up there screaming and still on the roller coaster. And yeah, we're gonna get out. I'm gonna explain all of that in a moment, you know, when we get started. Okay, so again, thank you so much for tuning in. And while you're waiting, I'll just go ahead and bring these things up on the screen right quick. Keep your eyes open over on SambaTree.com. We're gonna have a brand new product that we're gonna be releasing, I believe tomorrow. So yeah, so you want to keep your eyes open for that. That'll be coming out very soon. The website is SambaTree.com. SambaTree.com. Those emergency kits that we had, they're all gone. I told you. We're gonna have them as long as we can keep them in stock, and once they're gone, they're gone. That's it. But we'll have some more things that will come in stock in the future. You know, little special products like that. That's, you know, you got to either jump on it at that moment, or you know, you just can't get it. So we'll have more coming up. We got one of them. Another one is coming up, I believe tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Check your emails if you're not on the email list. Again, the website is SambaTree.com. Back in stock, we got the Haitian black seed, or rather black castor oil. We still have a few of these left. The USB powered mini travel humidifiers. We still got that in the house. You can check that out. Cut and sifted ginger root. We have the purifying face cleanser. This is from the Made with Moss product line that we have here. Fruits from the root. You guys been jumping on that. These are dried fruits that we get straight from the continent, from farmers on the continent, and we're able to get it right directly into your hands. And yeah, and it tastes really, really good too. I need to go get me some more there. Chia seeds are in the house. You can buy things in bulk, of course. You can check it out. We got everything from body care, as you saw. We got a whole tea section. You know, we got oils. We have burdock root capsules. We got moringa powder. We got all kinds. We got several different salts. We got 50-50 pepper, 50% pepper, other 50% black seed. We got food seasons, natural seasonings. You know, forget the stuff that they put in the grocery store. You know, we about 100% natural, man. There's so many things I had to put back in the store this week, because we start reading the ingredients and what they put in this stuff, man. I'm like, man, I can't eat that anymore. I can't just settle for that. We got organic blueberry leaf tea. Again, all kinds of leaf teas and all that stuff. Again, the website is SambaTree.com. And then we also have our other site here is Chalkstock, chalkstock.art. And basically what we're doing is we're creating images, just kind of accentuating our beautiful, beautiful culture. And we have all kinds of different packs for that. And we have, you know, where we're highlighting, you know, for graduates. And all of these images, when you buy them, they're free. You can, when you buy them, you can use them for whatever, as long as you don't put them on another website and sell them. But if you want to make cards, if you want to make calendars, if you want to make mugs, if you want to make all that stuff, you can do it. You can just come right here and get your images. We got one for graduates. We got the tech pack. You know, we also have a free image pack right here. You get 5 royalty-free images right there. All you got to do is come to the site and get them. We got one dedicated to our mothers. All kinds of different images. Like I said, these aren't just we just typing in a few words and boom, that's it. We have an understanding of photography. We have an understanding of art, and so there's things that you got to put in there so that it can capture it perfectly the way you want it. And so that's the difference that we bring to the table here with Chalk Stock. And we got the Inventors Pack. We got the Wedding Pack. We got one that's called Go West Black Man and Woman Pack. We got the Men's Pack. We got one that highlights children, just the beauty of our people, for our brothers, children and youth, our children, our beautiful women, of course, Couples Pack. Those that are in foraging and farming, all kinds of things. And we're going to be adding many, many more. These are images that you can use, like if you're doing projects and things like that, and you're tired of just doing a regular, like what most of us do, just doing a Google image search. And, it ain't coming. It ain't happening. Well, we're creating things here that you can use for whatever projects that you got going on. Okay. You don't have to give us credit for it. If you don't want to, that's fine. It's not part of the deal. You purchase it and you use it for whatever, project that you got going on, big or small. You can use it or not. You can just get them because you just like nice pictures like we do. So again, the website here is chalkstock.art. All right. Well, again, thank you and welcome, family, to another broadcast. And so glad to have you guys here this wonderful day in Wednesday, June the 14th. And today, last couple of days, I've been going through my garage and just cleaning it out, man. It's been a long time coming. Woo! Oh my goodness. And I didn't think it was going to be that bad, but I started going through it and I was like, what in the world? I was like, why is this still sitting up in here? And then I found things that I thought I lost, like literally like 2-3 years ago. I thought I lost it. And I'm blaming I was blaming the cat, blaming all kinds. I was like, man, could not find. And I just happened to go through just recently today. And I'm going through it. And it was sitting right there. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I had to blame somebody. So I just blamed the devil on that. I said, Satan, you still a liar, because you did that. I didn't do that. For real, man. I was like, what? And how did this thing just show up all of a sudden? Anyway. And so I had to clear it out a whole lot. Took a lot to Goodwill. And they started arguing. They weren't arguing with me. I just heard someone in the, they had like trucks back there and, they were loading stuff, unloading stuff. And he was like, dude, help me. I need help. I said, I was like, let me get up out of here before y'all start shooting or something. I don't know, shooting at Goodwill, but that's a way to get out. That's a way to leave. You go out on, what happened to you? You got shot at Goodwill. Dang. That's kind of messed up. Anyway, I don't know how I got off on that, but anyway, so busy, doing that. So glad I got that done and taken care of. Went to what else happened this week? It's been nice. It's been very nice out. It rained. Let's see, yesterday, I think it rained a little bit. Yeah, it did. It rained a little bit yesterday, rained a little bit today. June this year in New Jersey, it's funny how the weather patterns, how they just are, they go in these long, big cycles. Like, we'll go from 1 year or a couple of years, we'll have a very mild winter. And then it'll go, give it a couple of years, and it's all of a sudden, it's just snow all over the place. And this time, June, I don't remember June being like this last year. I remember June being a little bit hotter than this, but I could be wrong. But yeah, June typically can be on the cooler side here in New Jersey, but I do know it seems like the last couple of years has been on the warmer side, but it's like now it's not as hot, so I ain't complaining. But anyway, someone said no smiling on Chalk Stock. I don't understand what you're saying, bro. But yeah, so are you asking about, are there any smiling images on there? Yeah, we got tons of them. Yeah, we got black men smiling. How about that? I'm all about that. seeing our brothers smile. We all got to look angry or serious and we ready to kill somebody. No, we can smile, and we've got our beautiful women doing it and children doing on it too. I think that's what you're talking about. But anyway, so tonight, first of all, for those of you who are brand new, welcome. I'm trying to follow this schedule thing that I set up. Almost there. It just seemed like this one thing comes and it just throws things off. But tonight, I wanted to do a video. I wanted to do a broadcast, a video. This ain't going to be, I really don't anticipate this one being too long, because I just want to hit it and keep it moving. There are some things that I have been seeing out here in these internet streets. I'm sitting up here like, man, are people not even bothering to read in this day and age? I mean, I just, it's something. I mean, I'm just like, wow. It's wow. I mean, so I'm amazed. It does bring some clarity to a lot of things. I will say that, but man, really something. And so tonight we're going to look at actually two things, that has been filtering its way, making its way through the internets. And typically it has found us Black folks, African Americans, Afro-Cubans, Afro-Caribbeans, whatever, right in the center of this storm. And it seems like we always end up here. And tonight we're just going to go through these things just a little bit, because, I guess I do these kind of broadcasts because this particular one, like we're doing tonight, because I'm just so tired of seeing our people get deceived. I'm tired of seeing our people get swept up in things. And it's like, man, if you all you got to do is just stop for a second and just read, or just take 2 minutes and research it. And you're going to find the answers that you need, because what mainstream media is telling you, or what these other people are telling you. And here's the thing. It's not mainstream media all the time. I would say most of the time it's not mainstream media. I'm talking about the things that get us all, I'm talking about as a people, always wrapped up in a tizzy. And we're always worried. I mean, got us scared, and we're freaking out and over stuff and stressing all on social media and stuff. A lot of that, honestly, it's not the mainstream media's doing it. What I'm finding out more and more, it's our people doing it. And, it would be easy for me to sit up here and say, well, these people are agents. They work for the CIA. I think we say that kind of stuff to make us feel good. But no, some people, it don't even take all of that. It's just someone with a computer and a microphone and a camera just saying whatever, and have you just running with it. You know what I mean? So there's two things we're going to look at. The first thing is we're going to look at, this was a post I actually did earlier today. And, from time to time, I do get inspired to do a little bit of writing. And this is, so that's what I did today. So this post was kind of long, but I wanted to touch on this topic because it's been going around for some time, or just a little bit. As you know, the state of Florida right now, you have Governor DeSantis, who is running for the president of the United States. And, unless you've been living under a rock, that DeSantis is a Republican. And as I said in the beginning of the post that I did, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not even center. I'm none of that. I've walked away from that political platform or plantation a very, very long time ago. What you decide to do as far as your voting or whatever, that's up to you. If you do vote, you're not going to get any hatred towards me. That's your prerogative and that's your decision. I frankly don't care. That's you. I don't. But what I do is I do keep my eyes closely on things that are immediate. I'm talking about like on the local front, because those are the things that touch us the most, that have the most impact, I think. Not to say that what's going on in the White House doesn't, but not to the degree, let's say, of, what judges are going to be elected, what the school board and those kind of things. And I think those things are more effective in the immediate than, voting for who's going to sit in the White House. Because honestly, once you get into that level, it don't matter who's sitting in the office. The decisions are already been made for those people. All they're doing is they're just a mouthpiece for the powers that shouldn't be at that point. And so, it's just what it is. But, to each his own, you believe what you want to believe, whatever makes you feel good, and you go ahead and go with it. But anyway, so with DeSantis running, of course, what has happened is there has been a lot of pushback, if you will, because, DeSantis, he's everything from the Antichrist. He's Trump part 2. He's evil. He's this, and he hates black people. All of this stuff, all before he's fine. But the moment he said he's going to run for office, now all of a sudden he totally hates black people. I'm talking about Trump now. Because you remember Trump, it was not uncommon for him. He'd be hanging out with hip hop artists and, dapping folks and all that. And black folks, we kiki and ha-ha with him. But the day he said he's running for president, all of a sudden he was a full-fledged KKK member. Again, I don't care what you feel or think about Trump or whatever. I'm just stating what actually happened. He just overnight, he became the most racist man in the universe. And but these are games that the political system, what they play, and to get black folks scared up enough to vote a certain way. And this is what they've done in the past, and they'll continue to do it. So with DeSantis, it's no different. So the latest thing that's been going on in Florida, is these so-called book bannings. All right. And they have been saying that, DeSantis, he is banning books left and right. He is banning black books. Black children can't get, oh my God, can I even finish this? Oh God. I just need a moment here. Black children won't be able to get their history lessons from the government. They won't learn about their history from the government, okay? The government won't teach them anymore. Oh, God. The government won't teach our own history anymore. If the government don't teach them, then who gonna teach them now? This is how people acting, y'all, out here. Just straight foolishness. Straight foolishness. As if Amazon just went out of business or something. I don't anyway. So people losing it because they believe that DeSantis, he is banning all black books. You can't even find a black book anywhere. And just took me not too long. I looked into it myself. It's not really that true. It's not really that true. Is there a ban of sorts that's happening? Yes, there is. And so what exactly is being banned? Okay. So anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to take you at the, we're going to take a look at this post that I did in case you didn't read it. We're going to go through this, and this is going to be part 1. There's 2 parts here tonight. There's 2 things I'm going to talk about. All right. So the first thing is we're going to talk about this whole book banning thing. And if you didn't get, we're going to read it. Okay. We're just going to read it for you. Okay. I'll just get through it. I said, as you may be aware, social media has been flooded with claims that hundreds and hundreds of black history books are being banned in Florida. Black people need to flee Florida. Florida hates black people. It's funny how the political world tends to suddenly care about the affairs of African Americans every 4 years. And by care, I mean finding the scariest of racial ghost stories that seemingly always conclude with, and this is why you need to vote for X. Truth be told, I haven't seen a complete list of every book that has been banned in the state of Florida, as most mainstream news articles tend to highlight the ones that would grab the most traction with a TikTok attention span public. But I have found some pretty good sources. The image in the first slide comes to us by way of pen.org. This is an organization whose research in book banning has been heavily used by mainstream media. Remember, you got to go to the source. You got to go right to the source. All right. What are the sources these people are using? So pen.org is, like I just said, that's what they do. They ain't just looking at Florida. They're looking at all over the country. You have states all over the country that they are one book. This book is banned. This book is banned. Most of the time, it's when you start digging into it, you'll find that it's on a district level. It's not like a whole, state is banning books. I mean, you will find that, but it's really boils down to districts. Okay. So anyway, so here's the report. If you care to read it, it's called Banned in the USA, State Laws Supercharge Book Suppression in Schools. And you can read through it. Okay. So anyway, so that's it right there. And I give you the link. I said, if you take a look at the first image from their own website, these are considered to be the most banned books in school libraries across the USA. Now let's take a look at that list. Let's take a look at the most banned books according to their study. Let's take a look at it. Well, let's look. Gender Queer, a memoir. Flamer, Tricks, The Handmaid's Tale, a graphic novel. Crank, Sold, Push, A Court of Mist and Fury. This book is gay. Well, that's pretty straightforward. The Bluest Eye, Milk and Honey. All right. These are the books that they are banning. All right. These are what they would consider the most banned books. Okay. Now let's be clear here. Okay. Let's be kind of adults here for a second. Okay. All right. Let's put the emotions to the side. The school district may not be carrying it, but you can, if you want to get this book, if you want to get any of these books, you just go to your library, your public library in most of these cases. It's no big deal. Just go to the public library. I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, just go to the public library. Why you got to do all this extra? Or buy it. How about that? Buy it. That's a new concept, buying books. So this is what they're talking about. All right. But you notice there's a common thread with most of these books, not all of them, but most of them. All right. And so anyway, let's go back here. With all the stinging headlines and social media posts that suggest an all-out war against Black history books, I expected to see Black history books at the top of the list. Nope, not there. What I do see are books that seem to hover around a similar narrative. LGBT. Interesting how that isn't leading the headlines. Now, this is not to say that you will not find some Black history books that have made the list. For that, one must take the time to do a search, to search local reports to find out the whys behind their decisions. I'm not saying you're excusing it, but you got to look on a local level. You got to find out at the school district level, why are you guys saying these books, I'm talking about Black folks now, why are you saying, these particular Black books are banned? So you got to drill down and find out those decisions. Do you understand what I'm saying? Not on a national scale, not going to Twitter or Facebook or YouTube. You as the listener and the viewer right now, you got to go on the local level and find that information out. And most of the time it's pretty easy. For my own personal research, the reasons are ranging from parents who see how the LGBT agenda is being slipped into Black historical narratives to reasons that seem more on the side of being too radical. Governor DeSantis mentioned a book that encouraged the closing of prisons that made the list, but that is on the state level. So yeah, there's a press conference he did where he mentioned that because he was saying that was a bit too radical. I can't remember the name of the book there, but he was saying that in the book, they were, pro shutting down prisons. And so What he was saying is, well, that would eliminate law and order, which quite honestly, I'll be honest with you. I'm for prison reform. I'm certainly not for shutting down prisons. Okay. So again, I don't know what book he's talking about. So I don't have it. I can't defend it in any way, whatever it is he's talking about, because I don't know what book he's talking about. But I do know that there are plenty of people out there who are for shutting down prisons or, getting rid of all police. And that's not something I'm for. I have my strong opinions about these institutions, but to totally get rid of these things, I think it's a very foolish thing. And it's, because people clearly they're not looking down the road, Anyway, on the local level is where the story gets lost in the weeds. Number one, African-American history is a mandatory requirement in the state of Florida schools. See, this is what, again, these are the facts that get lost. Let me say that again. African-American history is a mandatory requirement in the state of Florida schools. Well, that don't sound like they banning African-American history, does it? The so-called book bans that have people talking are in most cases only applicable to a few school districts. While it's super easy to find video footage of angry parents at school board meetings in Florida venting their frustrations over books that have a clear agenda to sexualize children, one would be very hard-pressed to find any video footage of angry parents venting over books about the Negro Leads or Black inventors, etc. Sadly, too many of our people just repeat what mainstream media tells them to say. And I'll put that challenge to you. Find, in this video, in the comment section of this video, please provide the links of videos that you may have captured, because all of it is public information. It's not hard to find. These school board meetings, they're public. So you should be able to find it. So if you find, please post it, because I would like to see that. Parents that are standing up and saying, I don't want no book about no niggas up in here. Take it out. I want you to find me videos that say that. I haven't seen them. That is not to say that you don't have racist people in Florida, because I lived there and I could tell you, yeah, you do have it. There's a lot of them there. There's a whole lot of them there. But even with that, what I'm saying is, we can find video footage of parents standing up and demanding LGBT books to be done away with. But I haven't seen any video footage of parents publicly doing that in regards to Black history books. I haven't seen it. So, but nobody stops to ask those kind of things. You know what I mean? You just kind of go with whatever the headline is convenient, whatever. Anyway, let's go. In the case of Amanda Gorman. Now, Amanda Gorman, she's a young lady who did the poem, at the inauguration for Biden. And, the young Black lady that did that, right? And she was reading, is a poem. It's called The Hill We Climb, all right? And so anyway, it's in a book form. It has been claimed, and many are still repeating the claim, that her book was banned throughout the state of Florida. This is what they were saying. And I'm sure many of you have heard this. They said throughout the state of Florida, her book has been banned. You can't even find it anywhere. This is what people have been saying. Not only was the book never banned throughout Florida, the one, yes, you read that right, school district that had issues with it simply moved it to the middle school section of their libraries. Even the one school district that raised an issue about the book, they didn't even ban it. They just moved it because there's some language in there that they felt was more appropriate for older children. So they moved it to the older children section. They did not ban the book. And I have the link right here. It's factcheck.org. Sometimes they do get things right. And they lay it all out. So that was a lie. But how many people have you seen or heard going back and saying, you know what, we got that wrong? Nobody. They just going to keep repeating it. All throughout social media, I saw claims how this book ban is a way to hinder African American children from learning their history. The school district that moved Gorman's book to another section of their library has a very interesting demographic. The name of the school district was Miami Lakes, sorry. All right. And I wanted to look up their demographics. Just curious. 78.94% of their population, they're white. Two or more races, 12.1. Other race, 6.15. Black or African American, 1.54. Which tells us that in this case, all the yelling had very little to do with black children. Plus, if we are going to get real about it, are people suggesting that they are unable to get books in the local public libraries or on Amazon? Anyway, let's continue. Another claim being made was that Jewish books regarding the Holocaust were being removed as well. This is another one that was been out there. Well, this wasn't a statewide action. It was one school in Florida. One. Care to know why? Would you like to know why? Well, let's find out why this particular book was banned. According to this AP report, and I give you the links there, parents saw that this particular book wasn't the official autobiography of Anne Frank. Instead, it was a graphic novel, basically a remix of the actual history. Here is what they found in the book. It says the book at one point shows the protagonist walking in a park enchanted by female nude statues and later proposing to a friend that they show each other's breasts. Now, what the heck does that got to do with Anne Frank? What that got to do with Anne Frank? So they took, and I'm putting an asterisk by the history of Anne Frank. I'm putting an asterisk by that. I will not go into details on this platform. They took that narrative and they added a remix to it and added some other stuff to it and made it a graphic novel. Now, why would children need to read something like that? Anyway, let's move on. What I find interesting is that, to my knowledge, there hasn't been any calls for the Jewish people to flee Florida or to stop doing business in Florida or don't even travel to Florida over this issue. Places like West Palm Beach, known for its heavy Jewish population, isn't exactly experiencing the mass exodus of people struggling banks or jewelry stores or other businesses. And trust me, I've lived near West Palm and those folks are rolling. Do you hear me? If you've ever been to West Palm Beach, they got their own banks. They own their own island. Oh, they got their own. Every block is a different bank. It's like trust funds. You know, we handle all this stuff. They ain't going nowhere. Ain't nobody running from West Palm. Nobody. But black folks, oh, you better get up out of here. They don't like you anymore. The NAACP out there, black folks don't dare come up in here. They don't like black folks. Get out while you can. Whoa, woo, be afraid. Woo, Jim Crow is coming. He's back. Whoa, he's whiter than ever. He's mad. Whoa, they doing all of that, trying to scare black folks. Meanwhile, this other group of people who was quote unquote targeted by this quote unquote book ban, I haven't heard anything about them being told you stop doing business in Florida, don't go anywhere. I haven't heard any of that. None of that. Nothing. They chilling. What I have read are accounts of African Americans who work in the tourism industry who are losing hours of work because events are being canceled due to Florida's stance when it comes to to LGBT. And sadly, the NAACP is leading the way in that campaign, all while not even closing any of their Florida-based offices. You see that? You see what's going on here? So NAACP, they ain't going nowhere. They still there. They chilling. But they're trying to scare black folks away, tell them not to do business there. But the impact that this is having, it seems like, this was reminding me. There was a video I did. I can't remember. I know it was years ago. There was a video I did where we actually looked at the details of when all the times it was in a certain span of time. I looked at all the boycotts that were called by the NAACP, and the economic impact it had on the black communities. Yeah, we dove deep on that one. And when you look at those boycotts, every time the NAACP has done that, the local black economy has all suffered tremendously. Do you remember years ago when they did the boycott in South Carolina? Because it was over the flag, because they had a little Dixie thing on there, right? Now, again, I'm not sitting up here saying, hey, you should be okay with that. You should be cool with that. Hey, I wouldn't want to live in a state where every time I look at the flag is a Dixie flag looking at me. I wouldn't want that. But here's what I'm trying to get you to understand. The NAACP, they operate and specialize in scare and fear, but they are not strong when it comes to economic continuity. You understand what I'm saying? In other words, you want to scare black folks, but you don't want to give a plan for black folks on what to do in this situation. You don't want to give a plan to black folks who are business owners. Okay, we may be doing this, but we understand that it's going to have this thing could really have a severe economic impact on you. You understand what I'm saying? There's no plan. There's no talk on that. It's just like, well, you just out of luck. Sucks to be you. That's kind of what the mindset is. And this is how they operate all the time when they do these boycotts, all the time. So before the next time you open your mouth, the next time you open your mouth and you ready to do a boycott, I want you to please really think about that and the impact. All right. What I want you to do, and I should have had this sound queued up. I will next time, though. I'm going to find this thing here. Hold on for a second. This is what I want y'all to do for anybody that's even considering doing such a move like that. I want you to listen to what this audio says. OK, this is what I want you to do. All right. Next time that idea comes to your mind, we ready to boycott. I want you to take the advice of this voice that you're about to hear. OK.
So whether you like it or not, you're going to sit your narrow behind down and you're going to listen to what I have to say. Sit down.
That's what I want you to do. Sit your narrow behind down, and you need to go somewhere and sit down. You just need to stay there for a while. That's what I want you to do. Because more often than not, there's no thought of, okay, we need to think this thing out. Okay. Anyway, let's move on. Yeah, I should have had that on there. You can really, anyway, let's see here. Florida base. Okay. So once again, we see how the plight of African Americans is being used to push the agenda of others. In this case, the agenda is an LGBT based agenda. And I said, please note the child pictured next to the image of Amanda Gorman is a boy who wanted to dress up like her. And this is the image I'm talking about. Yeah, that's a boy right there. So this thing had nothing to do with Amanda Gorman, had nothing to do with black women, black men. It's all about pushing an agenda, an anti-black agenda. That's really what it's about. But I have to be real here. You have sisters out here that are just so happy in those circles to be recognized by the man. They don't care. They'll play right along with it, not realizing that you are taking part really in the extermination of your own people by playing along with this crowd. They just go right along with it. Anyway, let's continue. It's pretty much done. I said, meanwhile, why are books like The Secret Relationship Between Black and Jews are still banned over America? I said, asking for a friend, a lot of friends. You know, if you haven't gotten your hands on that book, you definitely need to get your hands on that book there. Definitely need to get your hands on that book. And that book is filled with nothing but facts. It's all sourced 100%, you know, from accurate historical sources and all of that. People got mad, and I know on Amazon they banned it. And I think Barnes and Noble, I'm sure, and the other sites they banned it. But you can still get it at other smaller bookstores. You're not able to get it because it's been banned. So these little things that pop up like this, when it comes, like in this whole topic of book banning, for example, family, don't get caught up in that. Because as you can see, once you start digging into the details, you'll see the books are still there. You can still access them. Then you got to sit back and say, well, what is this really about? Is this really about Black folks not having access to their own history? And like someone said in the comment section earlier, they said, as if that is our full history anyway that they teach in the schools. It's not. It's the government teaching, regardless if it's Florida or California. You think they're going to sit up there and tell you the whole truth about your history? I mean, the fact that that our people are stressing that the government that beat the heck out of you for over 400 years, you are stressing. Let's see, sometimes we don't even think about stuff like this. We just be all caught up in it. You're stressing because the government that has made it very clear that they ain't with you, that they ain't going to teach you your true history, and you just falling out. Don't you think we should have learned a thing or two by now, that it's on us to teach our history? We need to be doing that. We don't need the government to do that. That's on us to do that. Like, you remember years ago when people were stressing about they took prayer out of schools. You know, they took the Bible out of schools. When they took prayer out of schools, that's when all the shootings started happening. Yeah, okay. When they took the Bible out of schools, I remember we used to read the Bible in school. I remember all this stuff, right? And once they took that out, that's when all hell broke loose. Yeah, it was because schools were 100% perfect at that time when they had prayer in schools. Okay. The whole busing thing, I guess that didn't happen. But anyway, Jim Crow, that none of that happened. They were praying then. They were praying that these niggas don't get in their schools. Yeah, that's the kind of prayer you're talking about. But anyway, so anyway, it's the government, these public schools were not designed to make you successful. They're not designed. You have some great and wonderful teachers that are in these institutions that are giving everything they have to try to better the lives of these students. But I'm not talking about them as teachers. I'm talking about the system. When you look at the history of the public school system was designed so that you can be a follower, so that you can think like someone on an assembly line. That's what it was about. Because these businessmen, Ford and all of them, they were more interested in creating workers, people that were going to be yes, a boss folks. Do you understand what I'm saying? So they said we need to develop a system that will train future people, citizens, to be easy, docile workers. So that's what they came up with, the whole public school system. They didn't come up with the public school system so that they can train your behind to be successful and to one day take their spot and overrule them and change things in the country. I still don't believe the fact that you still got people that believe that. It's really a sad state of, it's really sad. Public school is designed to train you and to raise you up to be a docile follower. That's what it's trained to do. Not saying you got to, and Christian schools to a certain measure, because Christian schools, it's to be a defender of Christianity. That's a whole nother topic. You don't question anything. I was listening to someone this week as we're getting ready to move on to the second part of what I'm going to talk about. They were talking about, they're like a theologian. This person is like a theologian. He was saying that he went to theology school, and he was told by one of his professors, they said, listen, okay, you're here now, these are certain things that are already established, as far as, the Bible is concerned. You're not here to question any of that. You don't question any of that. We're here to tell you what to think. We're here to tell you. And he said it was basically like that. So they couldn't explore. They couldn't look. He said, if you're going to explore, you can't go but too far. But at the end of the day, you always got to come back to home base. We're going to perhaps, because Saturday, I don't think I'm gonna make myself available, because I still want people to process the video that we just did this past Saturday, this past Samba, on accepting Jesus in your heart and where that came from. If you haven't seen that, please go and watch that, and really take the time and really process that. You really need to watch that if you haven't watched it already. But there's this thing I do want to talk about, and it's dealing with presupposition. I want to tell people what that's about, and how you find that on the regular when it comes to the Christian world and everything attached to it. All right. Presupposition, basically what that is that you start off with the answer. So if the answer is I'm great, I don't care what books you point to, at the end of the day, you better come back and still say I'm great. You understand what I'm saying? We're going to explore that a little in a future video, and I'm going to give you a bunch of examples to show you how many of our people, we have fallen into that, and we've made that part of our lives. This whole thing about presupposition. So we'll get into that very, very soon. Okay. But anyway, let's move on here. The other thing I wanted to talk about is this other issue regarding this fire that took place this week, or rather last week. And man, I tell you, we're right here in New Jersey, tri-state area, depending on what part of the tri-state area, we're in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware, but we're also Pennsylvania, New York, and New Jersey too. So depending on where you are in the state, we got a tri-state area on one side, and we've got a tri-state area on the other side too. But anyway, when all that smoke from the Canadian fires, when it was making its way down here to in this area, it was really a big, big thing. The air quality, like today, I checked the air quality today, it was like 56. I mean, it was good. You know what I mean? You have other areas, that's even lower, depending on the day and the location and all of that, right? But when this happened, when this took place, our air quality in some places in the state was almost right. It was touching 500. Where we were like in the mid 400s. In other words, it was like 430 something. It was horrible. I mean, it was horrible. The air quality, it was horrible. And you saw the videos I did. I was like, trying to get people, listen, get you that N95 mask. Only go out if you have to go out. Do take these warnings extremely serious. And I talked about when I went out that one night, this is when the smoke started rolling in, and it was really knocked me. I mean, literally, it was like I was so winded when I got to the car, and I finally made it home. I had plans that night. I was going to do some other things. I couldn't even do it because I was like, man, I gotta lay down. My chest was hurting a little bit. I'm fine now, but I'm saying when you get blasted with all that smoke, it is no joke. It's no joke at all. Very, very serious. So our focus was really on, really wanting to make sure people take the warning seriously, that there's practical things you should be doing, to make sure that you're breathing clean air. Don't go to bed with the windows open and all this stuff. That's where my focus was on. It was crazy. You know what I mean? I mean, just how bad the air was. But like I said, thankfully we're past that. At least here, we're past that. So anyway, it was during that time and even up to the present, all of a sudden I'm on different platforms and I'm seeing stuff coming out saying, people were suggesting that the, was talking about the orange sky. Oh my God. It's orange. And I've never seen anything like this before. Now, one day you're going to get a treat. I know you probably may have been laughing at some of this stuff. I've never seen the skies orange before. It's like it's never, ever happened. It's never happened. Ever. I've never seen the skies orange. What is going on? Oh my God, what's happening? It's never happened. Well, if you've never been in a state that gets forest fires, then it would make sense that that would be something new to you. It's not a new thing. It's not a new phenomenon. It's not a new phenomenon. Like I said, I understand, again, if you've never lived in an area where you have forest fires, I can understand that. But you had people that were not only just saying that, but they were attaching other things to it too. And I'm like, okay, y'all getting way out of pocket out here. Well, let me just show you some examples of other fires. All people got to do is look this stuff up. And I'll just say, you got to be kidding me, man. Anyway, so I'll just show you this. So this was the August Complex fire. This took place in 2020. What color is the sky? It's orange. That was in the mid 2020. This is the Dixie fire. Both of these were like in the northwestern part of the country, United States. It's all orange. Ooh. Well, why does the sky turn orange like that? Well, let's take a look. And it says the sky gets its color from the type and amount of tiny particles in the air, as well as specific wavelengths of light they obstruct, experts say. This phenomenon is known as the Rayleigh scattering. It's responsible for the orange sky, according to climate scientist Peter Kalmus. On a day when the air in New York City or Philadelphia is not filled with wildfire particulate matter, blue light with its shorter wavelength is scattered more than red light, making the sky appear blue. But when the scattered smoke particles strongly reduce the blue and violet light, they leave behind only the red and orange to pass through, Kalmus says. Rayleigh scattering strength depends on the wavelength of the light, the size and the scattering particle, and the density of the scattering particles, he says. Light with shorter wavelengths, blue, gets scattered and attenuated more strongly than light with longer wavelengths, red. All right, and I give you the link right there. So if you didn't understand that, it's pretty clear. Basically, when you get those particles like that and they're all in the atmosphere like that, it's literally blocking wavelengths. So in this particular case, that's why anytime when there's a lot of smoke in the sky, particularly at certain times of the day, you'll notice that if you're in a state where it's, like I said, again, it's you get forest fires it's not red all day. I've noticed where it's like some parts of the day, maybe early in the morning or as you're getting into the late afternoon, it will turn that, but it's not like the whole day. But you'll notice it's like red, and it's because of the particulates that are in the air. They're blocking certain wavelengths, creating this. All right. So I just wanted to take the time to explain give you the scientific explanation on this, because you got some folks out here that was saying some crazy stuff, and we're going to look at it. Okay. So one of the stories that was out here was this one about the train. Now, I'm sure some of y'all were passing this one around. We're going to look at this. Okay. All right. So this is a tweet that someone put out on the left. We're going to look at what's on the left-hand side here. Okay. It says, this lady saying, curious, the chemicals from the train that went missing. Could this have been any connection to the red skies in New York? Word is the air has been tested and there are high levels of ammonium nitrate. I'm glad she said that, because yes, there are meters that you can get where you can test if there's an ammonium nitrate in the air. We're going to continue here, but this is what was being spread throughout, not just social media, but I saw quite a few of our people passing this around too. About 30 tons of ammonium nitrate. Now, this is a true story. This did happen, by the way. Ammonium nitrate fertilizer is still missing after disappearing during a rail trip from Cheyenne to California. On April the 12th, a rail car carrying the chemical used both as a fertilizer and as explosive left on a 2-week trek to Saltdale, California. Once it arrived, the rail car was empty. And it says, which, like I said, again, this is a very true story. And that's why and what I will also say is this. I'm not saying we should never trust the government. We should, come on, y'all, we can trust the government. The government would never do anything wrong. Nobody's saying that. Of course, the government is corrupt. But sometimes, or I should say, there are many times we can be worse than the government with the stuff that we pass around and we allow to come out of our mouths instead of checking these things ourselves. And here's another post on the right-hand side. They said, if anyone has equipment for air quality testing, we really need to know what's going on. This is not the smell of a wildfire. It does not smell like one. Well, I was here and I, along with our neighbors and everyone else, was saying it smelled like wood burning. So I don't know what these people were talking about. And some of these people probably weren't even living in this area. But anyway, current working hypothesis that 30 tons of stolen ammonium nitrate was taken to Canada to start these fires. Well, let's take a look at what happens. Let's play along with this for a second. Let's just say it was the case. We're dealing with ammonium nitrate. Let's just say if that was the case, okay? Just for argument's sake, all right? Let's just play along with this. All right, so what we're going to look at, New Jersey Health. This is one page, but there's plenty of sources we can go to. But New Jersey Health, they have a fact sheet, and we're going to pull this up here just right now. Here we go. All right, so this is the fact sheet right here, and this is what happens when someone is exposed to ammonium nitrate, okay? I can't make it bigger for some reason. It's right here. You see my mouse right here on the right-hand side. Ammonium nitrate can affect you when inhaled and by passing through your skin. Contact can irritate and burn the skin and eyes. Inhaling ammonium nitrate can irritate the nose, throat, and lungs. High levels may cause, I'm going to try this word, y'all, methemoglobinemia, with headache, fatigue, and a blue color to skin and lips. Ammonium nitrate is reactive and a dangerous explosion hazard. All right, so it's pretty dangerous. There's nothing here. I'm sure if you got exposed to it in a massive scale, as people were suggesting, then I'm sure that, now you'd be looking at death. You know what I mean? But I just went through some of the things here that ammonium nitrate, what happens here. Now, as someone who lived right here where our air quality, our skies were orange, our air quality was between 400 and 500 during this whole ordeal. I can tell you right now, I'm not aware of any neighbor or any reports of people talking about their skin turning blue, or there was irritation of the nose or throat or anything like that. Nothing beyond like what normal smoke would do. You know what I mean? It was there and it was gone. There's no reports that I'm aware of people massively running to hospitals because of all of this stuff. There's none of that. Never seen that. There's none of that has happened. Everyone right now, as far as I can see, everyone's normal. Nobody ain't falling out, dying. Ain't none of that has happened. So somebody lying. But do you think these people who are putting this stuff out will go back and correct themselves? Of course they won't. They're going to swing to the next conspiracy. And this is why, like I said, again, we as a people, we have to be ones that question all of this stuff, question everything, question me. But this did not happen. What they're saying, if the sky, and I'm gonna show you. I have a did I switch up? Hold on. Let me show you what ammonium nitrate does look like. Now, you remember there was a video that was going around of this massive explosion that took place in Beirut. Man, that thing was huge. Anyway, and after the explosion, it was like a mushroom cloud kind of thing. And then after it, you had this orange cloud. All right. That's what ammonium nitrate looks like when it's burning. All right. It's orange. Right. And so anyway, they break it down and tell you how dangerous it is. But it's very explosive and, all of that. And that's what it calls. But it's not, like I said, again, I haven't read anything about it causing massive deaths or anything like that. But it will, if you're exposed, imagine this cloud coming at you. You gonna feel that thing. So if you were where we were last week, this is kind of how our air around above us was looking. If all of that was supposed to have been ammonium nitrate, don't you think there have been a lot of people in the hospitals? But that didn't happen, did it? But see, this is what I'm saying. And I'm talking, and this happens just across the board, period. But I'm speaking to my family. I'm speaking to black folks here tonight. We have a lot of this stuff that happens all the time. People say things, and then when they don't come to pass and it doesn't happen, then all of a sudden it's like people just pivot to the next thing. Nobody goes back and says, you know what? We got that wrong. Yeah, Greg said no talk of any ERs being overwhelmed during the heavy smoke. I haven't heard any of that. No, I haven't heard any of that. And what I would imagine, like when I was listening to the local radio, you had people who specialize in lung health or whatever. They were giving tips and they said they were getting calls, but it wasn't, it wasn't like, oh my God, I can't even breathe and people just falling out. I haven't heard anything. And like I said, I'm right here and I get out a whole lot. And and it's not just here in my neighborhood. I'm all through South Jersey. I'm all in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. That's my whole area. I go up in Central Jersey. I go all up. I was up in North Jersey all during this time. I was all over this tri-state area. Didn't see it, hear nothing. Fortunately, most people took the warning seriously and they, took the precautions they needed to take. But there was another group that had their own theory about what they believed was happening. And that's the area, that's the people, the Christians, the Hebrews, they had their own theory. Oh, yes. They had their own theory. And that theory went to, where they had to go for that one? They had to go to the book of Revelations. They had to go to the book of Revelations, y'all. Revelations chapter 9. For y'all who remember this movie, this is from that X-Men movie, Apocalypse. And he was like, all has been revealed. All is revealed. Anyway, it's like, has happened. Revelation 9 has happened. Well, we're going to look at Revelation 9, okay? And again, I'm always about taking things in their full context. I don't believe in this taking things partially. Some people like that. I don't like, don't know. We're going to look at the whole matter. So that's what we're going to do. Let me pull up Revelation 9 for you, okay? Can I spell tonight? 9. Let's go ahead and get this one out here. I'll get the King James Version because that is the only one. Anyway, let me get that one up. Revelation 9. Let's take a look at this. And you had people running on this one, man. Lots of people, they were running on this and saying this is what was happening during the smoke. This is really what was going on. I'm going to read Revelation 9 to you, okay? And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven onto the earth. And to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there rose a smoke out of the pit as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And they stopped right there. They stop right there. They don't read any further. And you had people, I'm talking about, there were quite a few people out here that were saying, see, that's it. It's happening. It's happening right now. Revelations, it's happening right now. The smoke of the pit, that's what we're seeing right now. So my first question was, okay, so they found a pit in Canada now? So the pit, the hell, is in Canada now. Did anybody bother to send a GoPro or a drone to go to capture that? Or? No. People were listening to this stuff and nobody was questioning it. I'm sitting up here like, you got to be kidding me. People went to this scripture and said this is what was happening, that this was the smoke of the bottomless pit. The next logical question I would have is, did you find the pit? Nobody ain't asked for that. Now, the people I was looking at checking out, I was saying, ain't nobody gonna sit up here and ask this question? I mean, I'm reading the scripture. It says the pit was open. It says he opened the bottomless pit and there rose smoke out of the pit. So where's the pit? And nobody asked that. And they said the smoke of a great furnace and the sun and air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. Then they stopped there. But we ain't going to stop here. We're going to read the whole thing. Verse 3. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them were given power as the scorpions of the earth. Scorpions of the earth have power. So they skip. Okay, so where were the scorpions? Did you see any scorpions coming out with the smoke? I live here. I didn't see anything. I ain't seen no scorpions. I mean, we got ants around here. I mean, they ain't, they're pretty harmless. Mosquitoes, the mosquitoes actually been pretty chill this year. Thankfully. I ain't seen any scorpions though. So this didn't happen. And then keep reading. It says, and it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but those which have not the seal of God on their foreheads. And it goes on and says, and to them was given that they should not kill them, but should be tormented 5 months. And it goes on, blah, blah, blah. It says that. It goes on, all of that. Oh, it's quiet up in this place, I can see. Because maybe some of y'all fell for this. But see, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all, family. The reason why I'm doing this video is because of the fact that so many of our people choose not to even bother to read. Instead, you listen to people that tell you what to think. And a lot of these people are invested in one thing, and that is to keep you in perpetual fear and to keep you never thinking for yourself. This is why on this platform, we spend so much time and we get people complaining too. Why are your videos so long? Why you just get to the point? Because I got to go through all of these details because there's a lot of our people who won't. It's reading a book. Not all of our people are like this, thankfully, but there's numbers of our people reading a book is like holy water on Dracula. It's like they just won't. They prefer to listen to someone on YouTube to tell them what to think. They just prefer that, right? We don't do, you can't do that, family. Right, Christina said, so they just going to leave out all the smoke from all the volcanoes popping up. Right. But this is what I'm saying. It's like, but for numbers of our people, and I was just really amazed at how many of our people were repeating this stuff and were saying this stuff. You had people making full-blown videos on this. And it was one person I was listening to, they were saying, how did they say it? Because I said, I'm gonna sit here. I want to hear them, how they're going to explain this whole thing about the locusts. I said, I'm curious, what is your explanation for this? There was no locust. Well, of course they came up with an explanation. They said, well, did you hear? There is a whole separate prophecy we have that we did a video about a while back. It's the locust prophecy. And see, when the Bible says that there's going to be locusts, it's not really locusts. You got to be in the spirit to understand that locust isn't really locust. It actually represents something. Of course, you got a whole nother layer of things you got to make up that you got to figure out. I'm just reading this thing as it is. And it says smoke going to come out of a pit. And it said that locusts going to come out. It didn't happen. So so tonight, like I said, I wasn't going to be on it too long. The purpose of this broadcast was this. It's not to make fun of you. I'm not making fun of any of you. But I wanted to provide these just two examples of instances that are going on right now where people are saying things to get you so emotionally entangled and invested in things where you leave out the things that you should be focused on. Like I could tell it's my older sisters in the house that would be saying, well, you know, because they didn't know what to think. I guess some people didn't know what I was going to say tonight on, the little movie poster I did. They said, all I know is I'm just going to keep my eyes on the Most High. That's all I know. Okay, yeah, you keep your eyes on the Most High, but also get you an N95 mask too, okay, while you keeping your eyes on him, okay? I'm not telling you not to. But what I'm saying is, I'm giving you two examples of things that when you get caught up in fear by people who are invested in fear, especially there are people, I ain't talking about white people now. See, white people, we already know what they're about. Okay. I'm not all white people, of course, but you understand the system. We already know what they're about. Okay. We already know that. But tonight, as your friend and as your brother, I'm telling you, there are Negroes out here tonight and today that are invested in keeping you perpetually into fear. You always, to keep you in that circle where you're always afraid and you always, it could be this and this is going to happen now because it says it, so it's going to happen now. You just might as well just pack up and leave. Where are we going to go? I don't know. We just got to leave. We got to go. It says we got to flee. Where? I don't know. We got to go. Well, don't you have any instructions on where we got to go? It says flee. You just got to go. You just got to trust in him and you just got to go, honey. And it's just, and then when you sit and say, okay, before you do that, let's process this thing. Let's think this thing all the way out. Because the math ain't mathing on this stuff. It's not. And woe be unto these people out here that are invested in it. And like I said, there's numbers of people out here that are like this. There's a video out now of Kanye West. Not to really get off topic, but it is on topic. Do you remember there were people, so-called prophets, that were out here saying that Kanye West was a modern day Moses? I don't know if some of y'all may not have heard that he is pretty much going to be the one that's going to save our people. I'm talking platforms that got significant followers. I ain't talking about some little thing I kind of heard or I saw on TikTok. I'm talking about significant followers, significant. And the people were just, yeah, I see that. Yeah, the Most High's hands on his life. Instead of saying stuff about him, you need to be praying for him now. That's what you need to be doing. Don't be talking about him. You need to be praying for him. Well, since that time, that man done left his wife. Let's see what else he's done. He's also now, he's doing spirit cooking. I don't know if you've seen this video. There's a video out now where for his birthday party, it's a very recent video. I ain't gonna play it because I'm not putting that on there. I ain't getting in no trouble. But his birthday party is very, very recent video. He had naked women laying on tables, and there was food on top of them. Kind of like the other videos that you've seen. Marina whatever her name is, the Jewish woman. and they doing like a little spirit cooking thing. They had, and Kanye was right there, and he getting his food and all that, and he got naked white women just laying all up on tables and stuff. I mean, like, it's crazy. And then he'll turn around and do a Sunday morning worship thing, and then people are just, he's just so anointed. You may not understand him, but listen, the anointing kind of works that way. Well, I don't want that anointing that works that way. You can keep that. But my point is that nobody goes back to check themselves. They don't go back. The reason why and like I said, this is why I do this stuff, is because you got younger people that are coming up, and they need to see examples where adults in the room that fall for this stuff or propagate this stuff are going back and correcting this and saying, you know what, we screwed up. We were wrong on that one. I know what I said, but I was wrong. We got to go back and we got to correct that, because we were way off on that one. But it rarely happens. So anything that you hear out here, big or small, whatever it is, please do your own due diligence and investigate. It usually, the two things I talked about tonight, family, it didn't even take me that long. The whole thing about the book banning, that took me all but like 15, 20 minutes to find out those things. It wasn't in that long at all. This thing in here about ammonium nitrate and all that stuff, and they were saying, oh, they took the chemicals and maybe I looked it up. No, if that was ammonium nitrate, you would be having my funeral service right now. Because that amount of ammonium nitrate in the air, yeah, I don't think none of us would have been here. But that didn't pan out. Then you got the people who were saying that this is a fulfillment of prophecy. Then they said, well, it's because I was listening to this one person, another person, they were saying, yes, see, because it's going to happen in stages, because the first stage is the smoke. Then the next stage, that's what we're waiting on right now. That's the locusts. They're going to come anytime now. They're going to come anytime. So I would say load up on some raid when them locusts start coming. They're going to come anytime. And folk just be run. I mean, anyway. I do have a video here. Let me show you this. I wanted to show you this at the beginning, but I'll show it to you now. This is this is the White House. Now, you've seen, I put a screenshot on the community page of the White House. They just had, as you know, June is Gay Pride or LGBT month, right? That's what June is. But also, what else is in June? Juneteenth. You think that was a coincidence? Anyway, well, just this recent thing they had at the White House, they had, all these trannies dancing on the White House lawn, and they had one individual, a tranny, took his shirt all the way off, had his breast meat all out there, just hanging and doing all this stuff, right? And on the White House lawn, all his man-made breasts were hanging out on the White House lawn. Okay. And so keep that in mind. Like I did on that post yesterday, I said, when you put your hand over your heart and you pledge allegiance to this country, that's what you're aligning yourself with. All of that. You're aligning yourself with all of that. You are. Well, I fought for this country. Yep. If you did, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but this is what the country represents. And so anyway, of course they did that or whatever. And then very recently they decided to do this. Pay attention to the crowd now. So literally just the other day, you had a whole front lawn where these people are standing right now. You had pretty much Sesame Street up there, the other side of Sesame Street up there. Then you had an individual that, like I said, they literally bared their stuff. And, you know, the White House, they had to come and try to clean that up and try to say, we don't like that. And he's no, or her, or now we don't know. We're confused too. You know, they're not allowed to come back to the White House. You telling me, hold on for a second. The White House is a very secure place. You ain't going to just be able to walk up to the White House and do that and be in the White House on the lawn and do that kind of stuff. And nobody notices. Nobody. You on social media or whatever he did, wherever he did that, and nobody in the White House knew. Nobody. Secret Service, nobody knew that until it got in the news. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But this is what they put out just the other day. And then the next, a day or two later, pick me up, turn me around, place my feet on solid ground. And then people getting all stiff and, all this stuff. And we just kind of scurry over that. Where are the prophets out here that's going to say, you know what? This ground is tainted. I don't have nothing to do with this stuff. That's y'all. And if you want to shout, you shout in your own place. But what it says is that you want validation from the government. That's really what it comes down to. And every last one of them Negroes that was there, that's what they were there for, because they wanted acknowledgement from the government. That's really what it came down to. No matter what the price, no matter that you're being bundled in with this bigger agenda, this LGBT agenda. Even if it means that they're bundling your experiences, your plight, your history, and who you are, your identity with the identity of these individuals. That's really what it is. And that's why I said it's no coincidence that it just so happens that this is Gay Pride Month, and in the same month you have Juneteenth, which is a very significant holiday for African Americans. And you're going to have that in the same month. It's not a coincidence. I mean, every time you turn around, anytime these people, this movement wants to do something, they will always use the black experience as their Trojan horse. Always, always, always. You look at these movies, from movies to ads, wherever, it don't matter. They always got to make sure that there's a black person in the mix representing. Always. So anyway, the moral of the story, and I'm done. Like I said, I don't need to prolong this. Again, one more time, family. Anything that you hear out on these internet streets, please make sure you do your own due diligence and research it yourself. And then don't be intimidated even by the word research, because research can only, in some cases, it's just a matter of a few clicks. That's it. It depends on what you're talking about. Some things may be a little bit more involved, but I'm saying, before you emotionally invest yourself into something, make sure you get as much information about it as possible. I know that seems very basic, but what's sad and unfortunate is that we live in a world today where even the basic is being ignored. And it just really bothered me to see how our people were getting so swept up on this stuff, on these two issues that I talked about, the book banning and then this whole thing, and them trying to tie it to, it's prophecy being revealed. It's happening, y'all. The sky is falling. And then when it don't happen, I think that's the thing that really gets me, because, I just be sitting back like, okay, y'all going to go back and clean that up, right? And they don't. And they'll dare you to even question them on it. So anyway, I hope you really got something out of this. For some of y'all, it just may sound like an old broken record. Maybe I'm getting that age where I'm just saying I'm just repeating stuff all the time. But doggone it, when I see stuff, when I see our people just falling in these same holes and entrapments over and over again, it's very hard for me to just sit back and not say anything, because it's just so tiring. You know what I mean? I just really want to see our people win, and I'm so tired of seeing our people, falling for these same tricks over and over again. You know what I'm saying? So please ask questions, investigate, don't let these people off the hook that say that God told them this, or, they got this unction, or they got this or that or whatever, and then it don't happen. and then you just kind of, well, you know, hey, you win some, you lose some. No. You done got me all scared up now. What's up? Now what? You know what I mean? And so this is why it's important. Education is very important. It's very key. Not from the government, but from you, from me, from others. We got to educate ourselves. We're the school, right? All right, family. But listen, you guys take care. Enjoy the rest of your evening. And we'll be going live again really soon. You guys take care. Love you very much. See you next time.